It was okay until I sat on my mic.
Have you put the...
There.
Put it in your pocket, yeah?
Which pocket? Oh, that one.
Any pocket. No, not the mic.
The clips, I know. Nah, it's okay this way. There. Everyone ready? Good. I'll deal with the scary thing first. That is always something that you should consider when you have to give one of the pilot courses in future. That things can go terribly wrong, a website can be down, some media might be missing, but I checked it this morning and it should be okay. So what I'll do is now to show how we can exploit the video and the text that was created the day before yesterday and yesterday. I guess you all, oops, that was not the one. I guess you all remember the video here. Okay, we don't have any sound for it, but...
Well, Kent, you have to remember that...
Yeah, can't do it simultaneously.
Between your mic and the sound.
Right.
You can't do them both at the same time.
No, no.
So,
when you come next time,
That's not possible. Okay, we don't need the sound. I can speak it. Good. So, we have the video that was created yesterday. I also received the transcript of that video. And now I'm going to exploit that into creating a lesson for learning Catalan. So what I do is that I go to multidict.net, and there I click on Clilstore Teachers, because I'm going to develop a unit. There. The first step I have to do is to log in, otherwise I can't develop a unit. I could, of course, as a newcomer, register to get the login needed. I log in as Fred, that is my nickname when I make new programs. Come on. So now I can see all the units that have been created. Some of them I've created myself. Yeah, those would be visible with a cross, so I can delete them or I can edit them with a pencil. But now...
That's because you're logged in as...
Yeah, I'm logged in as Fred. So now I want to create a unit. So I point at create a unit. I have to give it a title. And let's call it the... What would be the title of the video? There was no title.
Catalan conversation, I think we call it.
Catalan conversation, right? I now need to tell the program where the video is. Oops. So I go back to the Vimeo video and I look at share somewhere. Scroll down.
Where there is an arrow. Go to the screen. Yeah. The hair. Can you see the hair?
To the right, top right.
Yeah, top right. Top right.
That's left.
Just the other side. Top left.
Go the other side.
Yeah.
Ah.
Click there. Yeah. No, the last one. Not the hair. This one.
Share. Okay. Good. And what I need is the so-called embed code. So I copy that. I use a Control-C or an Apple-C. I'll go back to my unit and I paste in that text. Right. Now I also need some text to go with it. I have the text here, which I copy. I paste it in here. And then I go down. I can see I only have 74 words, that's all right. And for the moment I will just select the language as Catalan. And the language level, would that be A1 or A2? A2, right. I'll have to tell that there is video, and it wants me to tell how long the video is. That's not really needed, but anyway, I could quickly check on that. It is, how many seconds? 29, or let's call it 30. So I say there is video of 30 seconds, a summary, a Catalan conversation, right, some language note, a simple conversation, and now I can tick if it is a test unit, but this is so professional with the video, and so it's not a test unit. So I say I'm the author of it, or I have the permission to use it, which I have. We will at least will sign the copyleft agreement later. So now I click publish. So now the problem is to find it again. I called it something with Catalan conversation. Find. And there it is, let's see it.
You could scroll the text.
No, I didn't, because I didn't realize that the video would fill so much. So what I can do is I can click the pencil icon again and tell that I want the text float so it scrolls. And save it again. There. So now I can click on any word. It will try to look it up from Catalan to Catalan. I want it from Catalan to English. There. Doesn't seem to give us much choice. Let's take another dictionary. Disable, doesn't say that, but yeah, there are different dictionaries. Some dictionaries are better at some words, so.
What do they?
Day of the week, all right. Okay, the 6th day of the week in Europe. So that's perfect. It will now remember which dictionary I use, so if I click on another word, it will use that dictionary again. So, that's not much, you may say, because there could also have been some exercises, so why not create an exercise? To do that, I have installed a software called Hot Potatoes from Half-Baked Software. It's totally free, totally copyleft, but you're not allowed to recompile the software, but anything you create on it may be used for free. So what I want to do is to make a close test. I will give it a title, fill in exercise for a Catalan conversation. And then I need some text, which I have. I paste in the text there. I personally like there to be a space between the different parts of the conversation. So let's say that I want a gap there. I click on make gap. I can put in more clues if I need it. I don't. So I just put in make a gap here and there. Accept the gap. Accept. I'll have to take a few of them, otherwise the exercise will not be as interesting for the end user. I could have made auto gaps, but then some of them would be rubbish, and as this is a very small text, it's easier just to put in the gaps. There. That's it. So now I just save it, and this is the tricky part. Make sure that you know what will happen here. I will use Dropbox, and I'll use a so-called public folder in Dropbox. If you have a newer version of Dropbox, there will not be a public folder. But what you do is then you log into your Dropbox, in and open a new tab, and then you Google for, what was the word?
Enable public folder.
Enable public folder, and suddenly there will be a link to Dropbox where you just click that link and you will suddenly have a public folder in your Dropbox. But I already have one, so I'm going to use that one. So I have to go to my Dropbox, and I have to locate my public folder. Public, and I want to make one that I call Catalan. There. And I will give it a name. Catalan. Fill in exercise. And I just save it. Oh, it contains a space. Continue with save. I shouldn't have had that, so I'll say no. I'll save it with another name. I need to go back again. Sorry, I missed, as I didn't save it. I have to find my Dropbox again. Sorry for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there. I have to recreate that folder. It suddenly disappeared, I guess. I will then call it Catalan close. There. So that was the first exercise. I also want a matching sentence exercise. The title will be Matching Sentences, Parts of Sentences. And here I take the first line, put it in there, and the second part of it. And I take the next line, so it becomes a half sentence. And I take the next part. There, and I will quickly finish. And finally the last one. There. I'll save it. Can't remember what I saved it last time, apparently. My Dropbox. Oh, there it was, yeah. Catalan. Archive as, oops, that was not it. As a match. There. I will just take those exercises now and try to put them together. First I need to find where I want to build it. want to build it in Dropbox. In my public folder, one I call Catalan. Build unit. This is amazing that it has to tease, but that always happens, and you have to demonstrate it. Catalan, there it is. It doesn't allow me to save it. It wants me to open something, which is weird. I want to save the project, which is weird.
In Arabic?
Was it in Arabic?
You were saving it in the Arabic folder.
Public? Oh,
Catalan is underneath Arabic.
there it was, yeah. Test. So I need some files to put into it. Documents. My Dropbox. And it was in my public folder. There I want those two files. That's it. Now I want the output type. I'll just take the standard. It's actually better not to take the standard, but right now, just to see that it works, I will build the unit. I want to see it, view it in browser. So those are the units that I've created. So the question is, was that created in Dropbox? I need to save it in the right spot. It did not happen. The computer is actually acting up. It does not accept me to move it to another folder. When I click there, it wants me to open something. Okay, so I need to go in and check where the unit is. So this has been messed up, I'm afraid.
That's okay. We have time.
The question is, where did it save it? Go to Dropbox, the public folder, Catalan. It did not save it there. Documents, Catalan. This is really I don't think this is the one. Nope. I can try to move this to the place, but this does not. This is definitely not something that we can use afterwards as a video. But it does show the problems.
Yeah.
I just copy it there. So I have now copied the files to the public folder, and what I should and it should have been possible when I created them to have saved them in that public folder, but for some strange reasons that did not happen. I have no idea why. But anyway, as soon as they are in the public folder, what I do is that I right-click the index file. You can see the file, that one there. I right-click it. I copy the public link. And I'm actually afraid that the exercise that I'm showing now will be the one that I created when I prepared for it yesterday, but never mind. At least we can see if it's working. So I go back to my Wordlink, and I want to go to the bottom there and create a bottom text where I call go to exercises. And then I can type in the exercise title, and that is what I copied, the copy public link that gave me this funny string that I just pasted in there. So now I can see that apart from I have all the text here where I can click on the words, I also have a button called Go to Exercises. So let's hope. Traveling. Yeah, so this is the one I created yesterday. I couldn't locate the one I just made.
That's okay.
But you can see that you can now actually fill in the words that are missing. I can go to the index again and match traveling. The hola, and then I have to select the right one to go with it. Yep. And that's basically it. A short break.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no idea really what happened with the files. Yeah. So that really shows how even here where had there been this outside the conference where people would like to go and visit the museums or other leisure options. That would be an entry to a Webquest. You would then tell the students that the result of the Webquest must be a brochure to hand out to the participants at the conference, and a PowerPoint presentation that you will present to the organizers with your suggestions. And then the grid that would show how to do it. One of the Webquests here is the Webquest _EU. When I go to it, oh, that's the one. You can see that he has made a brilliant evaluation form. The quest itself is about students that prepare to go and work in another country. What should they consider? And then as part of the quest, they'll have to to select a country, and there will be the process. They have a brainstorm, they make a division of list of things that they have to check on, and all Webquest must also somehow have some, whatever happened there. There. How do I tilt it? Rotate clockwise. There. Good. So there must be resources, because we don't just want them to Google out in the free world. We start giving them 4, 5, 6 resources where they can get some information. When they have used that, then they can explore further on. But the good thing about this particular Webquest is that they can see insufficient, sufficient, good, or excellent. Let's say the promotion. To be excellent, they need to have photos, illustrations, text, captivating text that would be interesting and would give enthusiasm, etc. Insurances, that they have extensive knowledge of insurance, that it's attractive, clearly and well laid out, etc. A poor version of that, insufficient, that information is too basic and doesn't refer to knowledge sources. That is an excellent Webquest, where the evaluation, a student who has done this Webquest, or a group of students, they would know what their grade will be. It's transparent. whether they would be graded excellent or insufficient. And I like that idea very much. Another Webquest is a light railway for Quest City, and you find the link also in the Dropbox, which was made by 2 Germans in 2002. They're going to propose a light railway system in the city and have to plan for it, and they need to find out where would they have the stops, why, which type of railway, which type of vehicles, how often should the train run, and so on. And there will be an area map they can get, and there will be different projects they can visit. They can get glossaries about railways, and all of that will have to be put into a presentation. So you need to select, you can select a free existing Webquest, or you can create your own ones. That was about the Webquest. Now we are approaching end of my long speech. Those of you who have to hand in materials that we turn into an e-book have to think in a special way about editing. In reality, forget all your fancy editing skills. Make a Word document, if possible, without tables. If you need tables, make them into a screen dump and a piece of graphics. That's often needed, but we can deal with that later on. If you have photos, no problem, but do not insert them in special text boxes. Insert them in the text with spaces. So what you should do is to mail a Word file to the graphics designer Lone Olstrup. Her next task would be to put it into a software called Adobe InDesign, from where she will make all the fancy designs needed, and she will generate the PDF file. After that, she will generate a so-called EPUB file. But in order to use the EPUB file, probably she has to go into and work with another program again, because there still needs to be some hard code editing in its XML, the files. So in order to make it look properly on a Kindle and on a iPad or Asus tablet or whichever tablet or mobile phone, there needs to be made some changes. There is a box in red which is very important for you. Don't use footers, as we talked about yesterday. So no headers and footers, because that's logical on a piece of paper, but it's not logical in an ebook format, which depends on the size of the screen. And if I read an ebook on my iPhone, well, one page would be like that, or it could be like this, and the page would differ from situation to situation. So there is no fixed page number in an ebook. That is why we can't have a footer. Also, oh, that's fun to have such a computer, isn't it? Whatever happened? Oh, good. Almost there. Oh, let me open it again then. Gosh, this is just a perfect day for a pint of beer afterwards. Meetings, Barcelona, and I put it into this one there. Sorry for all this hassle. Yep. And don't use, as she says, colored text boxes like the one you see there, because on a Kindle you don't have colors, and also they don't behave in ebook formats as you expect them to. And finally, please try not to make the page references where you insert, what is it called? Just a second. Footnotes. That's it. Do not have them at the end of the page. If you want footnotes, then put them at the very end of the Word file. Yeah. So don't have them at the end of the page. Automatically put them at the end of the document, because that will work well on an EPUB device or a ZW3 device. That's a Kindle. That's all.
Right. Thank you very much, James.
You're welcome.
That's the end of the presentation. Well done.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing it on YouTube in no time.
Oh.